Chapter 3: Recruiting the right board members. With the findings from your full board audit, you are now ready to recruit new board members to complement the board and fill any confirmed gaps. From your audit, you should already know the kind of board members you need, their skill set, core values, and the diversity they bring. The foundational mistake: recruiting a governance board too soon. Before we dive into the process, we must first address a critical mistake most startup founders make. They build a governance board when they should be building a founding team. A governance board provides oversight. A founding team or board actually builds out the organization. This is one of the main reasons why most organizations do not grow past the startup phase. At the early stages of building a non-profit, your board isn't just a governance board. It is your founding team. The composition of this board will directly impact your ability to plan, launch, and grow a successful and sustainable organization. That's why it's critical to recruit board members who bring functional expertise and are willing to roll up their sleeves in the beginning. Ideally, each board member should lead or advise on a key area, helping you lay the foundation in that domain. Essential skills for a non-profit startup board. Here are the core skill sets you should look out for in your board recruitment process. You may not find one person for each role, but you should aim to have these functions covered by your board as a whole. 1. Fundraising and development. Someone with experience in donor relations, grant writing, or capital raising to help build your fundraising strategy and systems. 2. Marketing and communications. A person who can shape your brand, messaging, and outreach efforts, especially via social media, email, and community engagement. 3. Strategic planning. Someone with the ability to design strategic plans and ensure alignment between mission, goals, and execution. 4. Program design and evaluation. A professional who understands how to develop impactful programs and create frameworks for measuring and reporting results. 5. Finance and budgeting. A board member who can help establish your financial systems, create budgets, and ensure responsible financial management. 6. Legal and compliance. Someone with legal expertise, ideally in non-profit law, to help with incorporation, policies, and risk management. Operations and project management. A person skilled in managing systems, workflows, and timelines to ensure smooth execution. 8. Partnership and stakeholder engagement. Someone who knows how to identify and develop relationships with other organizations, agencies, and funders. 9. Technology and systems. A tech-savvy individual who can help you set up your digital infrastructures, such as your CRM, website, and databases. 10. Community outreach and advocacy. Someone deeply connected to your target community who can ensure your work remains grounded in the needs of those areas you serve. 11. Human resources. A professional who can guide you on people management, volunteer policies, and building a strong team culture. How this board should function. In the startup phase, your board members are not just advisors, they are collaborators. Each board member can take ownership of one of these core areas and help develop a plan of action for that domain, create the materials and processes necessary for execution, build volunteer teams or work groups under their guidance, report progress and needs during board meetings. Your board meetings should be structured as working sessions where each board members report on their areas, highlight needs, and coordinate efforts with others. This integration ensures your startup operations as one cohesive unit. As the founder, your role is to support each board member, help remove roadblocks, and ensure alignment with the broader mission. You may not have the funds to hire a full team at this stage, and that's okay. Your board, if recruited strategically, is the team that helps you build the foundation. This is how you don't just recruit board, you build a leadership engine that powers your nonprofit from the ground up. The recruitment process. Now that you understand you are recruiting a founding team, not just a governance board, let's get tactical. Your job is to plan with your newly inaugurated board recruitment committee on how to bring in these new board members using a process that ensures commitment and successful engagement. Before diving into the steps, it is crucial to clarify the roles of your board recruitment committee. This committee, typically made up of the founder, the board chair, and one or two other engaged board members, is not just a rubber stamp. Its job is to actively drive this recruitment process, from planning the outreach to vetting candidates. This shared ownership is the first step in building a culture of strong and continuous board improvement. Before we dive into the steps, it is important to understand why a formal process matters. This isn't about creating bureaucracies. It is about honoring the commitment of your potential board members. A professional process sets a tone of respect, ensures clarity on expectations from day one, and protects the organization by properly vetting its leaders. The 7-step process to recruit the right board members. 1. Board recruitment planning. The process starts with planning. This is where you and your board recruitment committee determine where to find your prospective board members and map out the strategies, recruitment process, materials, and resources needed. It also involves defining the recruitment goals, articulating why these board members should join your board, and setting a timeline. It is essential to plan this process with your community so you can all agree on the steps, create the materials, set a timeline, and distribute roles. This is also the perfect time to engage your entire current board. Ask every board member to think about their own network, submit names of potential candidates who align with your vision and values you've identified. Often, the best prospects come from those trusted internal referrals. 2. Developing the recruitment materials. You will need specific materials and content to execute your outreach. It is vital that you create these and ensure they are well branded before you begin. This professionalism is what attracts other professionals. Some of these materials include the board application form, the board outreach content for different platforms, interview questions, a scheduling link, a board recruitment packet organizational portfolio, a board member agreement and conflict of interest statement, a series of email templates, interview invite email, rejection email, conditional acceptance email, reference check email, official welcome email, and the onboarding materials, including the bylaws, recent financial statement, 100% board giving pledge form, relationship mapping form, etc. Launching your outreach. Now that you have your materials, it's time to launch your outreach. The strategy is simple. Go where your prospects congregate. If you're seeking a fundraiser in Florida, ask and start with the Association of Fundraising Professionals, Florida chapter. For a lawyer in Texas, look up the State Bar Association. These professional groups are excellent places to find prospects who align with your mission. Social media groups are also powerful. If you're seeking a social worker in Europe, there are dedicated groups for them on LinkedIn. You can also run a targeted search on LinkedIn to find people with the exact skills you need, or even post a board member job opportunity, which LinkedIn may promote for free. The key is to know where your ideal prospects gather and take your outreach content there. To ensure a successful strategy, make sure every communications include a clear call to action, the reason for them to join your board, and a link to your application form, which you can easily create using Google Forms. 4. Vetting and interviewing prospects. Once applications start coming in, it's time to vet them with your board recruitment committee. The goal of vetting is to get more than one opinion on each prospect so that you can have confidence in your decisions. The next step is to invite promising candidates for an interview, which you can call a board awareness call to create a more relaxed tempo. Send your interview invite email with a scheduling link and a copy of your recruitment packets to give them a good understanding of your organization beforehand. When they show up for the interview, your goal is to understand who they are, why they care about your mission, and how they intend to contribute. This will help you determine if they are aligned. You also want to give them ample time to ask you questions. Remember, this is a two-way street. While you're interviewing them, they are also interviewing you and the organization. Remember, While this process is a formal process, every interaction should be warm, respectful, and personal. You're not just filling a seat, you're building a relationship with the future leader of your organization. Typically, this interview doesn't or shouldn't take longer than 30 minutes. After the interview, you have to decide whether to accept or reject them. It is important you don't make that decision on the call. Simply let them know you'll get back to them, then email them the decision later. For those you're looking forward with, your email must state that they have been accepted conditionally, pending the successful completion of background check and reference checks. The background and reference checks. It is very important to run background and reference check, especially if your organization deals with vulnerable population. This is a standard practice that shows your professionalism. While there are companies that provide background checks for as low as $15 per person, you might be able to get a basic check for free through your local sheriff's office. You also want to conduct a reference check to ensure your prospects are who they say they are. This involves reaching out to their references to confirm their stories. Both checks are very important in this day and age when anyone can easily wear a mask online. Plus, some funders will be looking for this sort of careful process to determine your fundability. 6. Onboarding. Once the checks are completed, the next step is to invite your new board members to a private onboarding session. The invitation email should contain all the materials you need to review during the session, such as the bylaws, financial statement, conflict of interest statement, and the board agreement. During the onboarding session, you will go over these materials, explain what they mean, and clarify commitments, expectations, and responsibilities. This is crucial for ensuring you are building a board that understands what is expected of them. At the end, they sign the board agreement, formally stating they understand their responsibilities and are committed to giving their best to the organization. 7. Introductory board meeting. After onboarding, set an introductory board meeting invitation. This will be the new board members' first official meeting where they meet the rest of the board. During this meeting, new and old board members can introduce themselves, sharing their passion, skills, and story. At the end of the meeting, you can set up a date for your first strategic planning session. This is also a great opportunity to create a body mentorship system by pairing a new board member with an existing one to foster accountability and connection. By following this process, you're not just recruiting, you're fundamentally upgrading your organization's leadership engine. You are creating a culture of clarity, accountability, and shared ownership that will attract the right board members and make your vision unstoppable. A final note: board recruitment continuity. The 7-step process should not be a one-time event, it is a cycle. The healthiest organizations treat board recruitment as a continuous process, not an emergency measure taken only when a seat becomes vacant. Your goal is to build a perpetual pipeline. Here's how you can drive that continuously. First, maintain a perpetual outreach presence. You can use platforms like LinkedIn to keep a continuous job posting active for board members' position. This acts as a permanent magnet, attracting professionals who are actively seeking for opportunities to serve. Second, create our job section on your website. This page should explain the role of board members, outline the ideal candidate profile, and feature a link to your standing board application form. This creates a clear pathway for passionate individuals who discover your organization to express their interest at any time. By implementing these strategies, you shift from reactive recruiting to proactive pipeline building. Your board recruitment committee can review incoming applications on a quarterly basis, identifying high potential candidates to connect with. And even if you don't need the person immediately, you can begin building a relationship. This way, when a need arises, you aren't starting from the scratch. You are drawing from a pre-vetted pool of qualified, interested leaders ready to be engaged.